Welcome everybody, my name is Chef Antoine and today we'll be making three of my favorite dishes. The first dish we're going to be doing is a potato leek soup. The second dish that we're going to be doing is a free-range chicken and a turnip puree. And the third is going to be my favorite, which is going to be a roasted Brussels sprouts. And welcome to Farm to Flame. All right, so today we're going to start with our potato leek soup. I love to make a potato leek soup with just a little extra additives. So what I have here is I have my butter, I have my leeks that I already finely chopped up, I have my garlic, my salt and pepper. For a little bit of a garnish, I also use my chopped tomatoes, my microgreens that you see here. I have my heavy cream and some chicken broth. Those are just the bases of a great potato leek soup. You don't ever want to go too far, but it's just easy for you to make it home. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start off and I'm going to take about just 2 cubes of butter and I'm going to get it in there. And I'm going to let it get, just saute down just a little bit. And the key to this is that we're going to saute everything down. So sauteing, it helps it blends all the flavors together. That's what's the most important. I got my butter melting down here. Now the heat is very, very important. You don't want your pan too hot and you don't want it too cool. So what I like to do is I like to go right directly in the middle to take a nice, even, medium heat. Because when you add all your ingredients, you don't want it to get too thick or to break down too fast. You don't want to burn your food. That's what's most important. So right now what I do is I have my butter that is melting down. And as it's going, as you see, finely chopped, as we call it in the chef world, we're going to julienne it. At home, just take a nice thin slice. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to pour my leeks in here. Now, I like to use a whisk. I'm old school, so sometimes I use a tongue for pretty much anything and everything when I'm cooking. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to get in here and I'm going to mix it around. And I'm just going to let it sit. All right, so another thing that I like to do, as it's sitting in there simmering, of course, you want to get your flavors to come in and you want to get it to simmer together. So I'm going to take my garlic. Now, usually what I do is sometimes I take my garlic and I take it fresh and I throw it right in there. But this time what I do, because I like that ambiance, I like it to really, really, really kick out. So I'm going to take some roasted garlic that I put in the oven with a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt, and you throw it in the oven for a few minutes until it gets nice golden brown. See, I don't mind a little brownness on it. It's good flavor, it's good texture, it's good color. So I'm gonna take this now, I'm gonna put it down. Just a few pieces, we don't need a lot. We don't wanna overpower. Garlic is all great for the body, keeps you healthy. So this is why I like to do things, because I'm a farm-to-table chef. I like to be organic, I like to keep it nice, I like to keep it healthy. So now I'm gonna take it, as you see here, and I'm gonna chop my garlic up in here. See how I did that? Real thin. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. All part of home cooking. Keep my utensils, keep everything nice and clean. And as it's going, I'm just going to keep it nice and hot. Now listen, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I am not a flat top electric stove person. I love to use anything with a flame. Just works out better. But it's going to take a little time, but we're going to get it done. It's going to be perfect, I promise you. All right, we're back. So, as you see here, I'm taking it and I'm simmering it down. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes for you to simmer down. I throw my garlic in there, I have my butter, I have my leeks in here. So now a little thing that I like to do, what I call with the little fast action now, is I take my diced potatoes. Right? And I take diced potatoes, as you see, the little small diced potatoes, and I'm gonna throw it right in there. I know a lot of chefs, they're like, oh, why are you gonna throw the potatoes in there? Because you wanna start getting them cooked early, and you wanna start getting them to brown. As I told you before, you wanna get the flavors in there and mixing the flavors together. That's what makes a good soup. That's what makes a good dish, period. It's all about getting everything together, getting all the flavors to cook in perfectly. So, taking there, I'm gonna take me a little pinch of salt, a little pinch of pepper, My salt is always kosher salt. That's what I love. Love my kosher salt. Okay, take it in there and I'm gonna mix it around. See, for those of us that's here, we can smell those good flavors. Those of you at home, when you're sitting there cooking, you're gonna get what I'm talking about. Trust me when I tell you that. So now that we have it here and we got it looking beautiful, of course, allow me to clean up my mess. I'm not that dirty chef. I'm that chef that likes to keep it clean. So now that I have it, and I think that that's perfect there. So now I'm gonna take what I have is my chicken stock, and I'm gonna pour my chicken stock in here. All right. So I got my chicken stock in there. You want to get a little bit more, just a tad bit. And I just want to sit there and I just want to let it just simmer up. Actually, I want to bring it to a little bit of a boil. The reason why I cook down my potatoes and I put the potatoes in there, because a lot of chefs, what a lot of people do and a lot of chefs do is they turn around and they make their soup and you have potato in it, and then they turn around and they put a cornstarch in it. Guys, let's be real about this. Potatoes is starch. So why are we gonna add starch on top of starch? Then we're running around with these big old bellies and we're full of gas and we're just not healthy. We wanna stay healthy. We wanna make things just vibrant, nice, beautiful, tasty. So we're gonna let this come up, and as the potatoes cook, you're gonna see that your soup is gonna thicken up. So right now, I have this in here, and I'm gonna take a little bit of the cream as it's going, and I'm gonna pour it in there. Not a lot of cream, just very little. It's just really for the color, the texture, the balance. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, your soup's almost there. Now it's just about taking the time and just allowing it to cook down. And as I go along, as you're gonna see many, many times, I'm gonna take my salt and my pepper, and I'm gonna keep adding it. More salt than pepper. What I've noticed in my house is my wife screams and yells is, less pepper, less pepper. Okay, it does tend to overpower the food. Always be mindful, take your time, and just give it a taste. Because you always wanna see where your flavor profile is. So at this point in time, I know that I already have chicken stock, which already has enough salt in it. Has a pretty good amount. So I don't want to keep adding salt and adding salt and adding salt, and then at the end, it becomes too salty. Then what we have to do, now we got to throw it out. Start all over again. We don't have time for that. We want to be able to eat. We want to be able to make everybody happy, and let's move on. Okay, so for right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes. We're gonna let it simmer down, and then we're gonna go on to our next dish. And the next dish is going to be our free-range chicken with our turnip puree and sauteed carrots. And we'll be right back. All right, everyone. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start with our chicken and turnip puree. So turnip puree we're going to do in a little bit. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we're going to saute our chicken. Very easy process. So I'm going to take our chicken breast here. As you see, I'm going to take a little, always thin, salt and pepper. I don't get into a lot of stuff when we're gonna get into the garlic and all different seasonings and stuff like that. I like to get in there and just get the basic nice salt and pepper. Salt and pepper in a meal always brings us a very long way. So we're gonna salt and pepper it really nice and heavy. And we're gonna salt and pepper it on both sides. So this is a very simple and easy process. So now as I'm salting and peppering it, I'm gonna take me a little olive oil, and you see here we have a cast iron pan. Man, does that work wonders when we're cooking food. So I'm gonna take here and I'm gonna drizzle a little bit in there. So the key to you cooking and having your chicken, as a lot of chefs don't tell you, the key to your food and your proteins and not sticking, heat up your pan first. You get a nice little heat, right? And as you see here, now I got the oil, pan's nice and hot as you see. So I'm gonna take my chicken breasts, right? And I'm gonna throw it right in here. Nice and beautiful. We're gonna take this, we're gonna set it to the side, right out of the way. We're gonna get a nice little cook. As you see here, I'm a white person. I'm telling you, I like to wipe, I like to keep clean. Cleaning in your kitchen is very, very important. As you see here, I'm gonna rock it nice and back and forth. My wife would actually kill me right now because we had this little thing that she bought. You know, she's one of them kitchen people, and she's gonna put it on top and stop getting all over my kitchen, stop getting all over my stove. But hey, it is what it is. You know what we do as chefs. This is what we're gonna do at home. So here we go, getting nice. I like to lift it up here. Look and see if it's getting that nice little brown, which is already starting to get there, but I like it a little bit more. So I'm gonna let it cook and simmer down a little bit more. So we're using chicken breast this time, and usually I will use a free-range chicken, which is, you know, the free-range chicken has the little bone that's still in it. It's a beautiful cut, it looks good, makes your plate look good, but hey, chicken breast, can't go wrong with that. So how do we keep our chicken breast nice and moist? What we do is we sear both sides of our chicken, because if you sear both sides of your chicken, what it does is it keeps all your flavors and your moisture inside of the chicken. So then when you pop it in the stove, everything is already locked in. That is the key for your moisture. Sear both sides to keep it locked in. So now I got my color here. I'm gonna flip it over. I'm sure we can see, look at that. That's that beautiful color in there, right? All right, so now what I'm gonna do is you're gonna see I'm just gonna keep wiping. Don't worry about me, we're just gonna keep going with that. All right, so now I'm gonna take this here. And we gotta sear it on both sides. You see I like to get a little sear on there now. So now I'm gonna take a couple pieces of garlic. And I'm gonna dump me a couple pieces of garlic right in here. Right on in here with your chicken. And then I'm gonna take here, what we have some figs of rosemary. I'm gonna take these figs of rosemary and I'm gonna drop it right in the pan with it. Now, don't be afraid of getting it in the middle. It's all gonna come together. I know you're saying, well, chef, why are you doing that? Why are you putting it in there like that? It's not gonna get any flavor. Oh, you have no idea the flavor that we're gonna get with this. And I'm gonna show you why later. All right, so how does that look? It's beautiful, right? So now I'm gonna take one piece of butter on one side. I'm gonna take another piece of butter on the other side. This part of it is done. Now we're gonna throw it in the oven for about 7 to 10 minutes, maybe just a little bit longer, depending on where we're at. Now we're gonna go right here into the oven. I like to sit it on the bottom, get nice and close to that coil down there, and we're gonna leave it there. Then we're gonna go on to the next step. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish up this chicken. We're gonna pull it out of the oven here. Right, and we're gonna place it right back over here on the stove. Take a look at how beautiful that is. Look at the color. We see all the juices and everything here. As you see here, we still have our figs in here. We got our garlic. Our garlic's taken, nice and brown. So I'm gonna flip this over. Look how beautiful that is. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do the finishing touches and I'm gonna add the sauce. So, as I talked about with the butter is so very, very, very important. So I'm gonna take one more piece of butter, another piece of butter, and we're just gonna let it swish around here. So, with me, I like to do a combination of things. I like to up the game. I like to up the flavor, just make it very, very flavorful. So I'm gonna take my chicken stock here once again, because we have chicken, and I'm gonna pour me a little chicken stock in. Just a little bit, not a lot. All right? And then I'm gonna come behind and I'm gonna put a little beef stock in. And I'm gonna take my beef stock and I'm gonna pour it in also. And I'm just gonna let that sit. Look at how beautiful that looks. And we just wanna let it go. We wanna let it simmer for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then occasionally what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back and we're gonna flip our chicken. Why are we flipping our chicken? What's the most important thing? That moisture in that chicken. Who likes dry chicken breasts? Sure ain't me. My grandmother and my mother would take that chicken breast and throw it out the window and told me to start all over again. So we're not doing that today. So while we're doing that, we have more than enough time now to do two more things. So I'm gonna come on over here to my turnip puree. So I have my turnips here. So what I do is I take my turnips and I skin them. And then I chop them up and I boil them. I wanna get it nice and soft as possible. Because normally what I would do is I would take it and I would put it in a blender and I would blend it down. And then I would put a little chicken stock and my little butter and my salt and pepper. And then it will become the perfect puree. And I would lay it down. But, you know, as I say, I'm a little old school. I don't mind using my hands, getting dirty. Some people, hey, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. You might not have a blender at home, so we're gonna do it this way. So I got my turnips that are in here. They're already cooked down, and I'm gonna mash them up a little bit. See, me, I like the little rustic style. So if it has a little clumps in it, it's okay, it's all right. A little clumpy clump ain't gonna hurt nobody. That way we know that it's nice and rustic. So we know that this has been sitting on here. I had this sitting on here just for a little bit. So I'm gonna do my favorite thing. Mantequilla, you need that butter. All you Spanish people out there. The mantequilla, that butter, makes it do what it do. So I'm gonna take it, smash it in here, get it out of that whisk. I'm gonna let it sit. My favorite thing, a little salt, a little pepper. So I was telling you that, guys, that I like this to be a little puree style. So I got a little clumpy here. Now I'm gonna take good old chicken stock and I'm gonna pour just a little bit in there. Just enough because I want to loosen it up. And we're gonna play with this a little bit. We're gonna keep it going until it gets to the consistency that at the end of the day, that makes you feel comfortable. So as I said, we're gonna keep it going. So I'm just gonna keep this going. All right, so when we're back. So what we're gonna do now is, we're pretty much down to the end. So now I'm gonna start building this plate. So I'm gonna take my puree, my turnips, and I'm gonna slap it right here in the middle of the plate. Now what I like to do is I like to build my plate. So I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna build it right here. So now that I have that done, I'm gonna take my chicken that has been sitting here and I'm gonna flip it a few times just to make sure that that moisture really stands in. I'm gonna take my chicken, I'm gonna place it right in the middle. Then I'm gonna take my sauce. And the first thing I'm gonna do with my sauce is I'm gonna start on the outside. I'm gonna drip it right around the outside of the plate. So you got your nice little moisture, and I'm gonna drip a little bit on top. Look how beautiful that looks already. And I'm gonna take my frying pan and I'm gonna throw it on. Remember what I said, one of the first things that we do is we're gonna take that pan and we're gonna let it get hot. So just give it about 30 seconds for that heat to get in there. Take a little olive oil. We only need a little bit of olive oil. I'm gonna drizzle it in here. I like to mix it around, get the whole pan nice and coated. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pump this thing all the way up. Then I'm gonna take my carrots. Got three pieces here, and I'm gonna drop it right in the pan. Now don't get particular. Doesn't really matter how we do it. I'm gonna take my salt and pepper, flavor it up nice and beautiful. As I said, my wife would kill me right now. She say, that's too much pepper. But hey, we're gonna make it do what it is. Okay, we hear it, starting to get that sizzle. And what this does is just, it gives us a color. So the very first thing what I did with my carrots was, I took it And I cut them in half, as you can see. And then I put them in a pot and I boil them. Boil your carrots for about, again, 2 to 3 minutes. Now, what's that's called? That is called the blanching method. Blanching means that you're going to soften it. And then afterwards, what you do is you would have yourself on the side a little bit of what we call an ice bath. After your carrots is blanched and it's right where you want them, you want to take it and you want to put it into the ice bath. The ice bath, what it does is it stops the process of the cooking. It slows it down, completely puts it at a complete halt. So that way it still has that firmness and that snap in it that you want to have when you eat it. You don't want to have mushy vegetables. You don't want to have mushy carrots. None of that. You like to get that snap. It's well seasoned, well cooked, perfectly served. See, we're starting to get that nice little color on there. Said, and this method is really, really quick. You want to get it hot again. You want to get that flavor in there. You want to keep that snap, and then you want to be able to present it on your plate. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Because you see, I'm getting that color and I'm getting it on both sides. That's the importance of cutting your carrot in half. You want to be able to be evenly cooked, evenly covered, evenly distributed. All right, everyone. So now what I'm going to do is, carrots look good. I like the way I got the color on them. The skin's coming off of it, it's peeling off. It has that nice, perfectly brownness that I like. So I just want to put it, just turn it over on his belly just one last time. I want to give it about 30 more seconds on that at a nice, decent heat. You know, anywhere between a medium to a high heat. You know, you can go high if you want to saute them, or, you know, just keep it. I want to get that color, so now I'm going to take it off. Now it's all about the plating. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go here with it. Carrots are kind of big. And I'm going to cross it on the plate. And I'm going to take my third one and I'm going to kind of like dangle it there. Somewhat of the same size, more like a cross there. Elevation is key on it. Okay? I'm going to take that, and now I'm going to take my microgreens for a little color, little garnish, and I'm gonna drop it right on the top. And here you go with your chicken turnip puree with your sauteed broccoli. Beautiful dish. Now, of course, I wanna make it as pretty as possible. Would I serve that at my restaurant? Damn right I would. That's a perfect dish. Beautiful. At home, everyone would love it. The taste, phenomenal. Don't forget to try this at home. All right, when we're back. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish this soup off, the potato leek soup. All right, and it's been simmering for about 20 to 30 minutes. So now we're just gonna take it here and we're gonna check it out. Oh man, yes, that's beautiful. That got nice and thick. See, this is why I say, with the potatoes in there and cooking it down, who needs cornstarch? Why are we gonna double starch it? So, I'm gonna take this right here, and I'm gonna scoop it into this beautiful bowl, and I'm gonna lay it down. Nice, beautiful potato leek straight from the garden. We're gonna get a nice little helping here. So we're gonna drop that right in there, and I'm gonna set this to the side. All right, and we're gonna jazz it up. We're gonna give it a little color. We're gonna make this look nice. So we got the soup here, and I'm gonna take a little tomatoes, finely chopped, nice small dice, and I'm gonna dress it around. Cause you can't go wrong, it's gonna look nice. We're gonna drop that right in there, and I'm gonna get some scallions here. I got some finely chopped scallions, and I'm gonna dress it up around there. Give it that nice little color and that balance there. So you got your potatoes there, we got our tomatoes, we got our scallions, we got our leeks, and then of course, my nice beautiful microgreens. We're gonna drop that right in the middle. Get that microgreens nice and high. Gives you that lift, that balance. And here we go, everyone. Nice, beautiful potato leek soup. And up next, we're gonna do some roasted Brussels sprouts. Wait till you see the way I do those. Really gonna kick it off. All right, and we're back. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do my sauteed Brussels sprouts. Well, really our roasted Brussels sprouts. So what I do is I take my Brussels sprouts and I go and I get me the nice big sized Brussels sprouts and I cut the ends off and I cut them in half. And then I throw them in and I boil them for about, again, as the process, 2 to 3 minutes. And as I told you guys before, we're gonna talk about this blanching process. So the blanching process is when we cook them in the water, we boil them in the water, we're gonna take them out, we're gonna throw them into what we call the ice bath, which is 50% ice, 50% water. You throw it in there and it's gonna start the cooking. So I took my Brussels sprouts and I threw them in there and then I sauteed them up. I put a little olive oil, a little salt and pepper, and then I threw them in the oven. Throw them in the oven until they get nice golden brown. So now I'm gonna complete my process. I also took me some walnuts and I put them on my walnuts on the stove. And then I put a little confectioner's sugar on it with a little butter and I sauteed them in the pan. And then I took them also and I put them in the oven. Put them in the oven about the same time so you can save time. And then I also took and I cooked some bacon. Cooked some bacon down, I rendered it down till you get a nice golden brown. And then my favorite thing is I love to make pickled onions. I like to add pickled onions to my dish. Red onion, and I chop it down thinly sliced, and I put it into a pot with some red wine vinegar and some water and some sugar. And then I let it boil out and I let it boil down until it's nice and soft. And then once I'm done with that, you take it out, you put it in the refrigerator, and you let it cool. So now we're gonna build a dish. One of my favorite tasting dishes. So as you can see, I have my Brussels sprouts. Got some nice color on it. You see they got nice little browning on it, right? So what's my favorite thing to do? Mantequilla. I'm gonna take my butter. I'm gonna drop it right here into the pan. I'm gonna let it saute down. And I'm gonna take my Brussels sprouts. Throw it in the pan with it. So now we got everything there. Take it, round, flip it, flip it, flip it, flip it. Don't try this at home. Please don't try it at home. You're gonna flip it, you're gonna have your sauce, you're gonna have your food, you're gonna flip it back, it's gonna go all over your stove, it's gonna go all over to you, and then you're gonna be yelling and screaming. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna make it simple. All right, so now I'm flipping it there. So now as I got it here, and it's getting nice and warmed up again, what's my favorite thing? A little pinch of salt, a little pinch of pepper. Rotate it around. Yeah, you see, I'm gonna get some lift on that. Now I'm gonna take my bacon that I told you that I rendered down. We're gonna throw the bacon in there. All right, what does the bacon do? Bacon gives it that nice little flavor. That bacon fat into food, into anything you do, man, it just elevates the flavor in that food. So now we're gonna take it and we're gonna saute it in there. Look at that. See how beautiful that looks? For everyone that's sitting here, what do I say? Got that smell in there? Beautiful, right? Right, so now I'm gonna take, remember I said I have my walnuts here. And I'm gonna take it and I put it in the pan with some butter, some confectioner's sugar, saute it down, I put it in the oven. Got some good little color on here. So now what I do is sprinkle it in there. Now, for those of you who are allergic to nuts, and you have an allergen, this is not recommended. Please do not do it. I do not want you to say that Chef Antoine told you to put nuts in your food, you knew you had an allergen, and you break out. And then you want to call up the network and you want to call me up and you're trying to find me and you want to get my business and talking about I'm suing you. Because you told me to put nuts in it. I'm telling you now, don't do it. One ingredient that you can take out of there. Nice little flavor. My pickled onions I was telling you about, how beautiful those are. Those look great, right? So I'm gonna take some, little color. Just gonna drizzle it in there, just a little bit, not the whole thing. Okay? Put it in there. Look how nice that looks. Nice and beautiful. I'm gonna take it. Look at that color. Now I know for a lot of you who are sitting there like, oh, chef, man, that looks like it's burnt. That's not burnt, that's that flavor, that's that color, that's that pizzazz, you know, that's that charisma in the plate. That's to make it look sexy. All right, so now I'm gonna turn around here. I'm gonna take this. This is cooked down. You got it? What's my favorite thing, ladies and gentlemen? Salt and pepper. More salt and pepper. Now, please be cautious of your salt and pepper, everyone. Cautious of it. Because you're like me, I have severe high blood pressure. I take a lot of blood pressure medication. So therefore, I have to be nice. I gotta be even. But I like to season up my food and I like to have that flavor in it because that when the person sits down, there's one thing that I don't do in my restaurant. I don't like to do in my restaurant. I don't put salt and pepper on the table. Why? My food got soul in it. You know, my food got that taste in it. It's got that flavor in it. So we don't need to do that. Here we go. How's that look? You know my trusty dish? I love my high rises. So I'm gonna put this in here. Get that nice little color. All right. So here we get it in there. Nice little side dish. Elevate it, give it that pop. Can I get it all in there? Of course I can. So we're gonna make this nice and neat. Nice and fresh. Look at that there. How's that looking to you guys? Now, top it off with my last little garnish. With that nice little pop. Again, it's all about that elevation, sexiness. Make it look good. What's the first thing you do, guys? You eat with your eyes before you eat with anything. So when you have something that comes to the table that looks like this, you're like, yeah, I like that. I need that. And then what I do, top it off right on top of that little flavor. And here we go. Here is our roasted Brussels sprouts, pickled onions. And that's it. We'll be right back. All right, everyone, so welcome back. I'm Chef Antoine, and we're gonna go over these quick dishes that we've made today. So we have our potato leek soup with a nice little beautiful tomato garnish and scallions. One of my favorite dishes, my two last favorite dishes that we have here. And this is my free-range chicken with turnip puree with my baby carrots, sauteed beautifully and nicely with that nice little color with that pop in it. Everything here, as you see, and we'll know this is all comes from the farm. So you know what my show is called? Farm to Flame. And last but not least, my favorite side dish is the roasted Brussels sprouts with the pickled onions. You can always find me, Chef Antoine. You can find me at our Facebook page, a2hospitality.org. That is my website. Or go on my Facebook and A2 Culinary Hospitality and Consulting. And thank you guys very much. And we will see you at the next episode coming very, very soon.